this is Kim with Scholarly Pursuits. Today, my friend Alice and I visit the Ohio Supreme Court. Now, I'd heard about the beautiful architecture, the beautiful artwork, and just a great experience that you could have on a tour with the Ohio Supreme Court. But it would take me actually many years to get here and actually take a tour. Now, as we're walking in the building, I want to tell you it's even more appropriate because today, Governor DeWine appointed a Hamilton County prosecutor, Dieter, to the Supreme Court. Now, Harry Hakes was the Cincinnati architect who constructed the building that the Supreme Court is housed in the early 1930s. But it wasn't until 2004 when Justice Moyers had the building adapted to become what it is now, the home of the Ohio Supreme Court. Our tour was led by Jake. He is a civic education coordinator for the Ohio Supreme Court, and he does an amazing job sharing stories and little anecdotes about the building and the furnishings and the draperies and the pictures along the wall, along the ceilings. I want to encourage you, don't forget to look up. There is so much to this building that takes place on the ceiling. There's beautiful tile work, there's beautiful artwork. Also, don't forget to look along the walls by the elevators and at the stair walls. There's tile work, intricate tile work. Also, you'll see within the walls and the tile work, of course, you'll see sculptures and things like that, but you'll see little designs. So there's so much going on in this building that you want to make sure you pay attention to every detail from the flooring to the walls to the ceiling. I want to highlight the artwork that's in the North Hearing Room. Now, that was created by John F. Homer, and it's titled The Progress of Industry. And it basically detailed the grind and the dignity of physical labor. The art style at that time for public art was known as American Realism, and it was popular in the 1930s. Now, I also want to just mention a few things about the Supreme Court. I like the fact that they have a great website. If you get a chance, you'll want to take a look at the website. There is an area on there where the general public can comment, provide public comment on some of the rules and proposed rule changes. And that's how we can be involved civically. There's also a Celebrate Black History part of the portal where there's great videos about the history of African Americans and the Ohio Supreme Court. And then finally, I just wanted to mention the Supreme Court offers grants for transportation for schools. And the online application is available in mid-September, I think just for a few weeks. But if there's a school that wants to visit and could benefit from some financial assistance for transportation, that information is on the website as well. Back to our tour. Now let's join the tour again and listen in as Jake shares some information about some of the cases that have been heard by the Supreme Court, as well as some of the interactive displays that are available at the Education Center and available to the general public.
Were really redone to house the other offices that the court will be bringing with it. And it was later in the design process that Chief Justice Moyer said, never mind, whatever, I can't remember what this space was going to be. The architect mentioned it once, but he said, I want an education space that talks about religious freedom. The short version is that he is an Amish man who is issued a citation for not wearing, as the Ohio Revised Code calls it, his hunter orange, while out hunting. And he disputes that. He says the requirement to wear orange violates his religious freedom because his religion says that he has to wear darker colors or neutral colors at least. So he appeals and he is ruled against. They say that there is a compelling interest for you to wear orange, and your religion does not say that you have to hunt. Hunting is recreational. So the process of hunting and following the laws, you are violating your religion, and you can simply choose not to hunt. So other cases talking about that, we have some more interactive pieces here. The unfortunate part for our tours is that it's a lot to take in. We can never talk about all of it. It is open to the public, so if you did ever want to come back, or at the versus appellate court, I also like to highlight myth versus reality. That Judge Judy and Law and Order, that's not what a court looks like. No court looks like that. Because people come in with a lot of misconceptions. You know, no one's slamming the gavel, no one's screaming objection. Here we have our Ohio Wall of Notables, so a lot of names that maybe you're familiar with or maybe not, but that we think are important. My favorite, Florence Allen, who I did not know about until I started. Florence Allen was the first woman elected as a judge in the country. She's elected in 1920 to the Cuyahoga County Court of Common Pleas. That's the same year that women gained the right to vote. She's the first woman in the country elected to a court of last resort when she's elected to the Ohio Supreme Court in 1923. And then she's the first woman to serve on the federal bench when she was appointed by FDR in 1934. And she served on the federal bench for 30 or 25 years. So pretty incredible. And then on this side, we have the faces of our justices. You'll notice we're missing one there. We were waiting until he is officially
Which is
sworn
the
in.
newest one, right?
Yes, so Justice Dieters will go here. We have to wait until he's officially sworn in. But that is the makeup of our court, and that is the order in which they sit on the bench. This is our summary of the building. So off to the right, we have information about the original design, the architect, the artist. Here in the middle, we have a summary of those themes. So I mentioned transportation, commerce, conservation, and restoration. And what you're seeing on that screen are just brief clips of the renovation from that documentary that I mentioned was made about it.
Now, the building on the other side of the gavel, is that part of this building?
It is not.
Okay.
And I think it's an older building. I know there's a company that bought it that is looking to renovate it and make it a mixed-use building. So there's going to be some apartments, some storefronts at the bottom. And I don't know what the history of it is, but they're trying to get it approved for some kind of historic tax credit. And the reason they've not started any work yet is they've not been approved for that yet. But no, it's not. I hope they do something with it. I think it was 2008 when it was put in. And this is our hanging on trial. And the point of this, just like we try to dispel those myths that TV gives us, shows like Law and Order give us about what a courtroom looks like. This is meant to dispel some of those myths about the intersection between science and the criminal justice system that shows like maybe CSI would give people. And so we have a thought or a spot here that focuses on eyewitness testimony. And so it's a little more interactive than some of our other spots in the education center.
So what is the difference with the water? Okay.
We're ready. Our last stop will be our
On the shelves, now I venture to say that it's all computerized.
A lot of digital resources, certainly.
I love the different things they do. It looks like, look, see how that, I don't know what they're doing with that, but see how that book is fanned out or fanned in.
Yeah, it's a bunch of books.
yes. So this is kind of the starting point for the library. It goes up to 15. So once you get off of this floor, it's mostly stacks. But it's a big space. And so the architects have to figure out when they move in to renovate these spaces. How do we get all this texture? Yeah, if I didn't already say, it was created for the opening of the court over there.
So that, did he paint himself in all of them?
No, just in that last piece,
Okay.
this whole series. In these displays here, the law library staff, they're wonderful, creative people. Right now, they have their top 10 books of 2022. But they get very creative and do very niche topics. For example, one February a few years ago, they did a display on the history of marriage licenses for Valentine's Day. So very, you wouldn't think there's much fun on that topic, but they found it, created a display.
Who uses this library? Just
So it is
the justices, or?
It's open to the public, so
Oh,
you don't have to be an attorney to come in and use the space if you wanted to. And it's obviously a resource for attorneys and judges and justices. But they get requests from all sorts of people, international requests as well.
I was going to say probably from all over the world.
Yes.
Bring us back here?
Yes, yeah, we'll look at the reading room. So, the reading room. Well, so I was about to say, this used to have a bunch of terminals set up, but with COVID, they couldn't have them packed tightly in here. And so they took them out and they realized, we don't really need all of them in that one area, because they also have terminals spread out throughout the other floors. We'll walk through that doorway and you'll see some set up. So what we've used this for now is a main gathering space. We had our holiday party here, with the old Chief Justice meeting after. As a kind of reference to the